Hello internet, you know what time, it's time for another video, and I'm just going to make a very short video about APIs and specifically how to access APIs using the fetch method. Now this is going to be a topic that I'm going to cover much more in a later video, but I just want to do a quick and short video on how to simply just get the JSON data into any JavaScript environment. And the way we're going to do that is just use a API. Now APIs are the fundamental concept of like pretty much any Web 2.0 website, so it's important that you learn this. So before we begin, we need to obviously find an API. Now just for the purposes, I'm going to be linking this, which is a public API list, and all of these APIs on here are they're all public and you can use them for whatever usage. Now bear in mind, some of these required to sign up for accounts. You might have to pay for some of them, but this is a very good list of APIs that you could potentially use for research or whatever, any coding experiments, stuff like that. So for today's purposes, I'm just going to be using a API that I've already tested out, which is this one, which is pictures of cats from Tumblr. So we just go click here and it'll send us to the cat API. Now what's important is that we need to read the API instructions because we need to know which API or which page we're going to go to. So we're going to look at here. So we're going to look quick start, get a random kitty. And you can see it, as you can see here, we got this. So we got to say, so it says load this. So what we're going to do is we're simply just going to just check if it actually works. So what should happen is when we call this, we will just get this. We'll just simply get the actual JSON data, which is what we need. So what we're gonna do is I've already got it open. I've gonna open up a brackets terminal, and we can have any index. So essentially this just needs to be attached to the index HTML, but this should be fine for now. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna write a simple function to effectively grab this data. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna type in async function get cat image, and we're just going to put the URL in for now because effectively we actually, we're going to change it. We're just going to say get API data because I feel like this is better. Okay, so what we're going to do is, and just before we go in parameters, just put a parameter there. So what we're going to do is we're going to do try, and we're also going to do a catch. Now, if you don't know what catch and try does, effectively what happened is when we execute this function, it will try this, and for whatever reason, if it cannot do anything, it will output the error, and we can figure out what that error might be. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do let request equals await fetch, and the fetch function is one of the most fundamental concepts of JavaScript, and I promise I'm going to be doing a much more in-depth video, but this is just a very simple API call. This is nothing too complex. So what we're going to do is we're just going to simply put in the URL, we're just going to put in the URL for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to let request equals await fetch URL, and we're going to be doing let data equal await request dot JSON. And we'll do console.log data. And as a final thing, just make sure we've got semicolons in it, because I have a really bad tendency not to do semicolons. So we're going to do catch. We're going to do console.log error. And what this should do is actually, so the one thing we need to do is we need to actually tie this to something. So I'm going to be a little bit lazy to keep this tutorial short, and I'm simply just going to call the function within the JavaScript. But what you would normally do is have this tied to like a HTML button or an event in event in the website. So that's probably a much better use case. So what we do is get API data. I'm just going to copy and paste that data. So we just got images search, and what happens is we're going to run it, and hopefully it should work. Let's hope it works. Okay. Okay. So ignore that first error. That's to do with brackets. But as you can see, we've now got the array of data. And just to double check it's actually, working, what it should do is if we refresh it, we should get a different, so now we're getting actually different types of data, which is awesome. So we've even got the image URL, and we got all of this, and it is just a JSON object. So what we can literally do is we could just copy property path, and we could just do that. And effectively we're just specifying which part of the data we want. And what it should do now, it should just print out, yeah. So now we got the JPEG. Anyways, this is just a very short sort of glimpse of what I'm going to be teaching with Fetch APIs in general. I hope this video has been helpful. And like I said, all the source code for this is going to be available in the description down below. And I would highly recommend reading up about the Fetch API, async, await, any of the stuff like that. And I'll promise I'll do a much more in-depth video later on. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.